I am grateful to Honorable Prime Minister, and on behalf of all LIC fellows, millions of agents, I express my gratitude to Honorable Prime Minister, and that motivation will reinforce our resolve to fulfill our commitment to all our stakeholders and create sustainable superior value for all the stakeholders.
LIC's exposure to Adani group of stocks. When they'd fallen down, that had become a huge challenge for LIC. Now that stock prices have normalized, would you be tempted to book your profits in Adani group of stocks, purely as a pure market operation and purely as a risk management?
You see, as I told, we do not discuss individual stock. Our team is there, they will take a call at appropriate time, we will calculate various things. We book profit also on various stocks. So let us see.
My whole question, sir, was purely about risk management, without getting into a yes or no in terms of when will you book profit or not. But in general, do you think your exposure to Adani group of stocks, it really needs to be revisited purely in the spirit of risk management?
That only one stock will not decide the risk assessment of LIC. Because if you see our portfolio, such a huge portfolio, and if you see the exposure to this group, it is very, very minimal. So that will not, and it is within overall risk framework. So whatever decision mitigation mechanism is to be taken for entire, so we can also take. But individual, we do not take as such. We don't decide this stock, that stock.
Okay. So if I conclude by saying that LIC's exposure to Adani group of stocks is something which is not a concern, and unlike a lot of naysayers who would rate question mark on LIC's investment in Adani group of stocks, at least now you've silenced your critics.
I have told earlier also, we have never made any loss, rather we made good profit on this specific stock. Though we don't want to discuss any specific stock, because since you are asking, I can clarify that we have never made any loss.
Okay, appreciate that, sir. Now, how will FY24 be different for LIC from FY23? Things have normalized. You are getting, you're able to protect your market share. The persistency ratio seems to be improving. Do you think FY24 and FY25 could be the comeback years for LIC?
See, I can just share some initiatives we have taken, particularly on the digital front. This year, we are taking a big digital transformation project for entire operation of LIC, a huge digital transformation project that will of course take time. Already process has been initiated. But besides that, we have also taken a project of customer onboarding through digital mode. So it will be for agents, it will be for banker, it will be also for our digital marketing or direct marketing. So through these three modes, we acquire customer. So these two projects will be undertaken with this customer onboarding project. It will be effected, it will start working by the end of third quarter. So that in the current year, we will get definitely good result from this digital initiative.
Finally, what is the plan in place to maximize your current, fleet's current network? LIC has perhaps one of the most enviable networks. What is the plan in place to really, maximize on it?
All these initiatives we are taking to grow our net worth, and it is going, if you see, from last year our size has gone up to 46 lakh 11,000 crore. So like that it will grow, our net worth will go year after year.
When I spoke to your predecessor on LIC's investment in IDBI Bank, they called it strategic. And the view, let's say, 1.5 to 2 years ago was that LIC wants to use their investment in IDBI Bank more like a strategic investment, and they want to build that portfolio. But now that IDBI Bank is something where government is looking at divesting their stake, what would be LIC's stand on that?
Yeah, our stand is we have made it clear because they are our largest bank partner. So that much holding LIC, we will be holding that so that they remain with us as a banker partner and a number one banker partner. Regarding government will take a call regarding IDBI matter. Government is taking some decision.
LIC is not going to be participating, or they are not looking at reducing their stake in IDBI Bank in the divestment route. Can I assume that?
That you see, we want IDBI to continue with us as our banker partner. So for that, whatever stake is required to hold in IDBI, that we will definitely hold.
Okay, so which means you will not be selling out completely. My final question, sir, is that, and you will agree with me, that LIC has some more scope to catch up when it comes to the banker partnerships. Are you consciously working on that apart from IDBI? I mean, you need to really perhaps beef that end of the distribution for LIC. Are you consciously working on that?
Yeah, we are tying up with other banks also. Yes, we have tied up with other banks also. This year, I think 2 banks we have tied up. We are expanding our banker partnership.
How would you first paint the environment for us? The life insurance sector post-COVID did go through its own challenges. Then came the new budget, which in a sense had an impact on the life insurance sector's growth per se. Do you think now things have normalized for the sector?
If you see the present business trend, there is a growth trajectory, and my sense is industry as a whole in India will grow 15 to 17% CAGR next 5 years. So a lot of growth opportunities there because insurance penetration, insurance density, protection gap, there is a lot of scope to improve.
So let's look at the NVP performance. It's a benchmark which is used to understand which way things are moving. Now the NVP matrix was weak. It declined 6.7% year on year and in Q1 both for the group and at the retail level. Why is that? And when do you expect the NVP to pick up?
Actually, if you see last year's Q4, there was a tremendous pressure on Q4 because of all these legislative changes. So some business of first quarter, those were shifted to last quarter. That is one reason. Secondly, our group insurance business, some receivables we could not receive during first quarter because those are deferred because the employers, they take a call based on various factors like interest rate and all those things. So my sense is those receivables will come in coming days, most likely in the current quarter, maybe next quarter. So there will be definite improvement will be there.
How do you see the persistency ratio moving? Because year on year, there seems to be an improvement there. Do you think this is a one-off or the trend will continue?
Definitely, there will be further improvement because consciously we have taken certain steps whereby persistency both in premium as well as in policy, that is showing some improvement year on year. Going forward, further improvement we expect.
So will it be fair for me to assume that LIC will grow at 15% CAGR for next 2 or 3 years when it comes to the AP matrix, because that in a sense will give us a sense of both growth and profitability?
That is our desired growth rate and we are trying to achieve that.
6 months ago when we spoke to LIC, the center of the storm was the investment in Adani group of stocks. The stocks had plummeted. That in a sense had really raised question mark about what will happen to LIC's premium and the outgo which individuals were getting. The situation is very different now. So in your balance sheet, what has changed now that Adani group of stocks have recovered on an average 50 to 60% from the losses which they had registered earlier this year?
You see, as I told earlier on many occasions on this issue, I have told the media, we do not discuss individual stock. We discuss our total investment portfolio as a whole. And so far as this stock is concerned, earlier also I have told, I again reiterate, LIC never made any loss, rather good profit is also there.
As per your last accounting in your book, what was the net investment in Adani group of stocks, both equity and debt? And currently, what is the value of it? What was the absolute investment and what is the value of it?
That you can find out. Actually, earlier also, whatever we released to media, we stand by that. And market value we can find out from exchange, exact market value of different stocks. But as a whole, as I told, we have good profit on this specific group of companies.
When we spoke to you last, you also said that the total amount of investment what LIC would do in FY24, both debt and equity, is something which you were working on. Now, I was hoping that if you could share a number with us that on an aggregate basis, the total investments, how much LIC is planning to do in the debt market and in the equity market, basis your assumptions on premium collection?
There will be incremental growth in investment both in debt and equity, but exact number it will be difficult to tell at this point of time. But already there has been growth, incremental growth year on year will be there in investment, both equity as well as in debt.
But for FY23, sir, LIC was in a profit booking mode, and that in a sense really benefited you in terms of your profitability. FY24, would you book more profits or would you be investing more than the absolute profit booking?
You see, LIC will take advantage of all market movement to the best interest of all our stakeholders. So, we'll see the opportunity.
A question which in a sense is evident is the fact that LIC is losing market share. From almost a monopoly, the market share has come down from 65 and now just above 60%. Does that concern you? Will that make you more aggressive? Will that force you to perhaps price your products slightly different from what your peers are doing?
You see, when there is a directional change in our approach to product mix, channel mix, post-listing, there is some change in the initial period, and I don't think we'll lose further. Rather, we'll sustain market share. Historically, if you see, at one point of time, some years before, LIC was much below 60%. Again, we regained. So my sense is that we'll retain our market share here and there because there is some directional change. Our sales force, they have to be aligned with that. So some change in the market share that is happening. But going forward, my sense is will definitely sustain the market share.
What about non-par products? Even though things have improved there, I think LIC still has a long way to catch up in terms of what they can actually do. How do you see the non-par product category moving?
If you see last the result, our non-par share in AP has gone to 10.22% as against 7.75% for this period last year. So as I told, directional change and deliberate change we have initiated post listing. It is now giving result. And